All greats must fall. A little over a month ago, I made a video reviewing the 2019 Porsche in Assetto Corsa Competizione. In it, I explained why it was widely regarded as the overpowered car in ACC. Only a couple weeks had passed since I put that video out, and that's when Kunos decided to drop the fattest BOP update that affected every single car in the game. The biggest talking point with that update was how much performance the Porsche had lost. And yes, I'm saying Porsche now, not Porsche. I know I was wrong. The majorly dominant Porsche had taken a big hit. It's still a fantastic car, no doubt, but it had fallen from that #1 spot. Which car has taken its place? Why, the Mercedes, of course. While the Merc did manage to receive a nerf, quote-unquote, in its BOP at Monza and Suzuka in the same update that I mentioned earlier, it's still comfortably in the top 2 or 3 at those 2 tracks, while being comfortably top 2 or 3 at every other track. Laguna Seca? You're damn right. Bathurst? You bet your sweet cheeks. Barcelona? It's not too shabby. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think this car is clearly OP or anything, as the Porsche was once considered, but I do consider it to be one of the strongest in the field, and I group it alongside the Audi in terms of how good its pace is at every single track. In today's video, I want to go over the Merc's strengths, weaknesses, and why you should give it a shot if you haven't yet. Also, real quick, make sure you follow my Twitch channel. I have a link in the description, and I do a bunch of live community events and league races over there. I'd love to see you there. Alright. Back to the Merc. Where the Mercedes is strongest for a lot of people is its straight line speed. While it does have some pretty decent pull down the straight, I personally don't think it's really anything special. I believe this car is fantastic at high speed sections because its acceleration is absolutely fantastic, and I'll get into why that is in a second. When you have fantastic acceleration paired with some decent top speed, well, that combination matters more than the best top speed with horrible acceleration, I think. Bad acceleration just makes you want to cry when you're in the battle on track. Now, there's one particular aspect of the Merc that lends itself to being at the forefront of arguments when debating why the car is so good. This is also why the acceleration, I think, is absolutely fantastic. This may be a bit triggering to some of you if you don't like the Merc, so you may want to cover your ears for this. Traction control setting 8 and 9. I've heard these 2 settings described as literal cheat codes. If you look at any hot laps in the Merc on ACC, a good majority of those laps will have the traction control set to either 8 or 9. But what's interesting to me is that these settings are used in real life as well. I can't show the clip as it's probably copyrighted, but there's a video of onboard footage of a Mercedes driven by Fabian Schiller, I hope I said that right, at the Nordschleife, and his dashboard shows he's using traction control 9. I've heard that these traction control settings are meant for rain, and I'm not sure how true that is because I haven't found any information on that. But with these 2 settings, the traction control is applied smoother than any other setting in any other car I've ever driven. It's beautiful. It lets you put your foot down way earlier than you think you can, and it doesn't bog the car down. I believe that this, coupled with a naturally aspirated engine, explains the car's beautiful acceleration. That shit gets me moist. The only thing that I find the Mercedes to actually lack in terms of handling is initial turn-in. The entire car tends to feel about as heavy as an actual elephant, and because of that, the front end feels a little bit lazy, with the rear end feeling slightly disconnected from the front. You do need to keep in mind that it is still a front-engine car, so some general understeer will always be there, but once you get past that initial understeer, the car grips up nicely and you're literally on rails for the rest of the corner. One of the only downsides to the Mercedes is its fuel consumption. This car drinks more than your average college student, and much like that college student, you wonder how its liver is still functioning. League races and sprint races are usually around an hour in length, and an hour is about as max as you can do in this car with a full tank of fuel with reasonable pace. Even at an hour, you'll still have to switch to engine map 2 for a while to really make sure you can finish. That's what she said. It's not all soggy bread and floppy bacon though. At engine map 2, you're only a tiny bit down on power, and you can usually stay within a few tenths of your time set while on map 1. Your straight line speed won't be as good though. Overall, the Mercedes is definitely one of the top cars in the games right now, and if you haven't tried it yet, I definitely recommend doing so. I wouldn't say it's OP, but it's definitely up there with the likes of the Audis and Porsches. Now, what is the pecking order, you may ask? Well, that's a topic for a different video. Speaking of which, if you have a car that you want me to review that I haven't reviewed yet, definitely let me know. And also make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button. I would really appreciate it. Have a good one.